This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hello everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here today for this edition of USVI News. I'm Brissa Bradfield. Emily Matson has the day off. Our top story check today, just before Christmas, there are new health concerns. The CDC is issuing a new warning about an increase in cases of invasive strep A in children, and it comes as flu and COVID cases are also on the rise. Gabe Gutierrez has the latest.
I just put an IV in him.
At Hackensack Meridian's Jersey Shore University Medical Center, they're bracing for a long winter.
Have you ever seen numbers like this before?
Unprecedented would be the word I would use. Unprecedented volumes.
David Clark works in the ER. He and his colleagues are seeing firsthand the impact of the so-called triple-demic: RSV, flu, and COVID.
It is something that we have not seen in the past. I have been in and around emergency departments for well over 30 years and have not seen anything along these lines before.
The big unknown for us at this point is what kind of a COVID season are we going to have? Obviously, we had two very difficult winters the past 2 years, and I think we have to brace for that.
While RSV cases seem to have peaked across much of the country, flu and COVID cases are up. 6-year-old Juan Carlo Aguiar in San Diego came down with the flu and spent 10 days in the hospital.
It's the worst feeling that a mother can go through, seeing your child just intubated in a bed.
Health officials in Chicago are preparing to hit what they call a high-risk level for COVID by next week and may soon recommend an indoor masking advisory. Public schools in Passaic, New Jersey are already reinstating a mask mandate for students and staff.
There's a lot of people that are wishy-washy with the vaccination, so I feel like that's probably the safest bet.
65-year-old Dory Greenberg was hospitalized with COVID twice.
When you can't breathe, it's the most scariest thing in the world.
She credits the vaccine and booster shot with saving her life.
I really feel that I would have been much worse without it.
Also, the CDC issued a new health advisory warning of an increase of a rare bacterial infection, invasive strep A, among children.
And advice from health officials right now, and as we head into this holiday weekend, if you feel sick, stay home. Well, meantime, cryptocurrency entrepreneur Sam Bankman-Fried posted a $250,000 bond and is living with his parents while he awaits trial on what prosecutors call a, quote, fraud of epic proportions. Bankman-Fried appeared in court for the very first time on Thursday, all in connection with the collapse of his once staggering empire. Naomi Rusham reports.
Sam Bankman-Fried walked out of a New York federal court Thursday after the judge agreed to a $250 million bond package. The FTX founder and former crypto king was arraigned on a slew of fraud charges stemming from alleged financial schemes that authorities say lined his own pockets and real estate portfolio at the expense of investors. The 30-year-old left the Bahamas under the cover of darkness Wednesday, agreeing not to fight extradition to the United States. He was arrested last week in the island nation where he ran his crypto empire. In interviews prior to that, the entrepreneur said he never intended to defraud his clients.
I made a lot of mistakes are things I would give anything to be able to do over again. I didn't ever try to commit fraud on anyone.
Two associates, 28-year-old Carolyn Ellison and 29-year-old Gary Wang, secretly pleaded guilty to charges connected to FTX's collapse while Bankman-Fried was en route to the U.S. Authorities issued a warning for anyone else who may be involved.
Now is the time to get ahead of it. We are moving quickly, and our patience is not eternal.
Bankman-Fried will remain under house arrest and strict supervision at his parents' California home while he awaits trial, permitted to leave only for court hearings and exercise.
Well, Bankman-Fried could face decades behind bars if convicted on all counts. Well, meantime, a county sheriff's office in Florida and the governor of Puerto Rico have signed an agreement on a fugitive extradition program to return criminals to their hometowns to be held accountable for their crimes. And so far, the program has proved to be successful, with another arrest happening just this week. Megan Mulatto reports.
We follow up on any leads they give us, and we extradite them. We find them if they're here, especially in the Central Florida area, and then we extradite them as fast as we can back to the island and make sure that justice is served.
Sheriff Lopez says the third person to be caught in Osceola County and sent back to Puerto Rico is Jason Daniel, who's facing vehicular manslaughter charges.
they let us know, hey, you might have one of our fugitives hiding in the Kissimmee area. So what we did is we started looking, we found him, and we booked him here in the county jail, and now Puerto Rico's ready to receive him.
He was taken to the airport where an extradition agent took him from there. So far, Lopez says the program has sent 3 fugitives back to Puerto Rico and 2 back to Central Florida. It's already proven to be mutually beneficial.
You have people here who buy guns and send them to the island, and you have people who do drugs and send them here. So what we do is once those criminals come here, we don't only arrest them, we do a lot of intel on their backgrounds, and we start finding out who they are, who they're associated with, and who they're related to, and it leads us to other criminal organizations. And that's the whole idea of this, since we have so many that go back and forth.
Well, 3 months ago, Hurricane Ian claimed the lives of more than 130 and left tons of billions of dollars in damage, and much of it happening in Florida. The storm pummeled the vibrant Fort Myers Beach community. In this holiday season, the town is rallying around a rebuilt symbol of hope. Christian Bienvenides reports from Fort Myers.
As residents in Fort Myers Beach celebrate the holiday season, there's no escaping how this year is different.
Santa's actually peeking out of our window there.
Missing will be Mitch Pacina's extravagant holiday display.
That's our garden from up on our deck.
Every December, the Chicago native shared online videos of what he and partner Mary created for their adopted town.
They felt the need to make sure that they celebrated with everybody, and they decorated every year.
That's the saddest thing.
This is the last video Pacina posted to Facebook. Later he wrote, "We're terrified." Pacina died in Hurricane Ian. Mary and their dog Lulu miraculously survived. The storm wiped out the home where they also hosted a huge community potluck on Christmas Eve.
He would make every day a celebration somehow. It's very welcoming as he was, and I think he just embodied a lot of what Fort Myers Beach is about.
Fort Myers Beach is working to keep that spirit alive.
There's so much gray and darkness with the sand and the debris that's still around that, you know, when you come over the bridge, the first thing you see is this big red tree.
The poinsettia tree has been a holiday tradition since 1995. The original palm in the center was lost in the storm. The town was determined that this is one tradition that would carry on. Residents and visitors alike started dropping off poinsettia plants at the tree's location. The town found the frame and brought in a new palm tree.
Everybody kind of had the same idea that it would be nice to see this tree back.
400 donated poinsettia plants make up this year's display. When you look at the tree, what does it symbolize?
It symbolizes the rebirth. It provides hope, and it did it once, and it'll do it again.
A joyful symbol for a town eager to rebuild. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Fort Myers Beach.